So anyway, welcome to England and welcome to my hot tub. And as you can see, this was by far and away the best purchase that my credit card ever made for me. Nice credit cards. So a lot of my health issues are related to neurological and bone and muscle things. There you go, there's some big words. Rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, peripheral neuropathy. I don't know. You don't want to be bored with that. You want to talk about economics, don't you? I bet you do. Why am I qualified to talk about economics? Well, it's a good question. Thank you for that. What I do, I have a degree in economics and politics, and I did a bit of philosophy as well. So in the UK, sometimes that is referred to as what's called a PPE, which is a degree that is more commonly done from Oxford or Cambridge. So Oxford University, for example, is divided up into lots of colleges. And PPE, politics, philosophy, and economics, sorry about the wind, is a degree that is often done by politicians, economists, and people who have nothing better to do. Anyway, I actually loved economics. I actually, nerdily enough, hang on, let me show you what's going on here. It's all a bit crazy. Yeah, so I am outside in England, and above me is a pergola, sort of wooden pergola. And above that is a certain amount of plastic sheeting, which may or may not stay on. Yeah, it's it's a little bit dodgy. It might blow away. But hey, that'll just be the hyperinflation. Okay? With a bit of luck, we'll get some stagflation. Cheats are awful. They are getting worse. So I went to a very, very left-wing university, one with the most international pupils. I think it was 42% overseas students, which was quite unusual at the time that I went. And our university student union was often in the newspapers for things like, petty things. We hung an effigy of Margaret Thatcher by a noose in our student union bar. Yeah, just little things like that. When I was at university, I think that's where my media career started mostly, because I took over in a grand takeover. I don't know how grand it was, but I was the editor of the student union newspaper and also the station manager of the university radio station, which I not only sort of hinted that it should be broadcasting elsewhere, I made sure it was broadcast elsewhere. So it was broadcast not just within the Radio Caroline area, and yes, that's a story, Pirate Radio were our biggest competitors, but also I got it broadcast by, live feed. We didn't have fancy wireless and shit in those days. Live feed into cafes and restaurants and all these things, so they could not get away from me. I thought it was good tactic, personally. I thought it was good. So as a coincidence, BBC launched their own sort of radio station very close to where I was at university, and that's why they invited me to come in, seeing I was a complete media tycoon. I was the Maxwell of the future, and I hope not. And they invited me in, and one thing led to another. I ended up working for the BBC. And then when I finished my degree, the BBC said, yes, come and work for us. Here are 3 golden pennies. That is all you are going to be paid forever. No matter how much work you do, you can work 24 hours a day. We'll still give you 3 golden pennies. And we'll not give you a contract, but we hope that we'll be able to renew in 6 months and give you another 3 golden pennies. That wasn't particularly enticing. So I ended up trading floor of Chase Manhattan, where there were 600 men and 3 or 4 women, of which I was one of them. And I was there as an economist for years. I can't remember exactly. It felt like 10 years. It felt like a decade, because I was literally on the trading floor by 6 o'clock. If I was late, 6 o'clock in the morning, I was too late then for, Japan and the Far East, all those markets. And I would have to stay late because obviously the United States would stay late. And we were pretty much 24-hour covering all the markets. We had a foreign exchange division, several hundred doing bonds mainly. We had a forex division called the Pit. That was where they actually did the trading in those days. It was quite good fun. And we had an equities division. But I think within 2 days of my joining, the equities division left. Not because they joined, no. They just left because they were all made redundant. It was about that time. Yeah, clues here. So mainly foreign exchange and fixed interest, and obviously the analytical economics that I did and that I enjoyed. And God, my boss was fierce. I think that's where I started chain smoking. And I think I lost about 2 stone just running around the trading floor, constantly taking requests from people. And also it made me a bit because you had to stand up for yourself. So economics basically starts off school years with things like macroeconomics, which is the big picture, and microeconomics, which is the smaller, more detailed picture. So microeconomics is even the economics of you and your house and your family and how you manage your finances. And that can come down to simple things like, I love this, marginal utility of satisfaction. Or mush, as I used to call it. Mush. How much mush have you got? And I remember our teacher obviously had a complete candy obsession. I'm saying that to the Americans. Or chocolate obsession for those that are educated and speak proper English. So we used to have, if you have one candy bar, the satisfaction you get from it. You get loads of marginal utility from your first one. I'll have another one. Second one. Yeah. Third one. Ooh. By the time you get to maybe your 6th or 7th candy bar, you're like, no, I'm not sure. I'm feeling a bit, ooh. So your marginal utility of satisfaction is dropping off. And that is important when we look at price. And when we look at the 3 P's of price and promotion and another P that I don't need to go into at the moment. But when you are a candy manufacturer competing in a candy manufacturing market, if you move your price by, let's say, 2 pence, and your favorite chocolate bar as a consumer that you love goes up by 2p, because you've got such high marginal utility of satisfaction, it doesn't really bother you. You'll pay the extra 2p. However, if it goes up by, say, 20p, and we're doing 20p on, let's say it's a pound. So if it's going up 20p in the pound, then that is a much bigger marginal utility that you've got to overcome. You've got to make sure your customers really like your candy bar before you can possibly put it up that much. Otherwise, you'll go over the tipping point and the marginal utility is not great enough to offset the increase in price, at which point you're going to lose out. Now, economics means drawing lots of fancy graphs of supply and demand and finding where the crossover point is between the two, because when you hit that point, you have to make some big judgments. Getting it? Now, I'm about to blow away. So for now, I'm going to pause it. But if you guys like it, and if I get a few hearts, and if I get a few retweets, I might come back. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching. This is Moneypenny.